All right, welcome back to Kanell Bell. Let's take a look at some NBA shooting forms of several players who have struggled to this point in their career for different reasons, right? They've all had their different respective woes as it comes to shooting the ball. Let's start with Lonzo. Very unique shooting technique that he came out of high school in UCLA, where he comes real across the body. You see some of these older footage when he was on the Lakers. Yeah. It really came from the opposite hip.
Yeah, it came from one hip, and it's got like a jerk, and it looks really rushed at the top.
This was my big concern for him coming out of college was, would he be able to get this shot off against NBA defenders?
Right.
So he obviously has been concerned about it. He's had some success. Hasn't been brutal. 31.5% three-point shooter. Let's have a look at his newer technique, which we have seen him unveil with New Orleans. Now, I was getting mad at Joey because I was like, this is a little bit better, but I still think it's not a pure shooting stroke.
Much smoother stroke.
It is. You do like it
It's
better.
hard to see from here. I would imagine that ball still is across his face a little bit, maybe in front of his face, not so much on his left hip. But the shot itself has much less like herk and jerk in it. And I'm a believer in your form as long as it's yours and it's repeatable. You know, you could shoot the ball with a lot of different forms, but when you're dealing with different timing issues on your shot, and that last one was kind of herky-jerky, like that's where you get really inconsistent. And this one is really smooth. Look how smooth it is. Just wop, wop. It's 1-2. It's really efficient. The other one was a lot of wasted movement.
And if you looked at his legs on the other one, they were really flailing forward. It was taking a lot of leg motion for him. This one's a little bit cleaner from his lower body perspective.
It would take me back to the last. Yeah, he's straight up and down.
Yeah.
Can we go back to the
old one with the
No, go back to the first shot of the new shot.
I think it'll loop around when you get behind him. Yeah, this one right here.
Straight up and down.
That one looks effortless.
Very little leg kick. So the head, you see how he lands like a foot and a half forward?
Yeah, I was going to say 2 feet.
Your head is like the heaviest part of your body, right? So if you kick your legs forward, the gravity is going to be pulling your head backwards, which means you're sapping momentum from the shot. Most of them come up short and flat. If you can go straight up and down, you got a better chance to get good arc on the ball. So that's a much better look for Lonzo.
All right. Would you – so when I talk about football, and granted they're different motions, I think this is a tweak. I don't think this is a total different look.
It's not an overhaul, right.
Will he be able to do this under pressure,
Yes.
Unveil is doing? All right, so that's a good thing because I think it's sometimes in football I said, oh, man, it's great, but you're going to revert back in a game to what you've always done your entire life. But if this is a tweak, then I think it's doable.
I think it's a tweak, and he was already a very willing shooter. He wasn't bashful about it. So I think it's easier for a guy who's not bashful.
All right, let's have a look at Markelle Fultz, who it's been different, right? He's had injuries. He had the TOS deal that he's working with. I mean, this was painful to watch from last year.
Oh, that's not the new one. That's the
that was a new one. I mean, this is a free throw, and he could hardly get it up. Yeah. And it was painful to watch him try to get – it was like Charles Barkley's golf swing.
Yeah, that was
like
tough.
a hitch.
I shouldn't laugh. I was feeling terrible for him last year.
So that's his old one, which was laughable. It was really – I mean, it was really bad. So let's see if we can get a look at it. He was 26% from three at his career. And it was embarrassing.
Take that off, please. I can't watch
know, it is. Like you, and if you're Markelle Fultz, you should never look at it. All right, so here he is at the free throw line.
Okay. Smoother.
Yep.
I need to see another one. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Ball roll.
Smooth.
Much smoother.
No hitch. I mean, he
Much
literally had a hitch. I don't think I've ever seen that. And then here he is backed up a little bit, working around the three-point line.
Yeah, that's much smoother. Much less. See, I think he's a better shooter when he doesn't think about it, and that would be off the bounce probably for him. I don't know that he's a great catch and shoot dude anyway. But I worry. Listen, here's why I worry about him. It's not the form. It manifests itself in form, but it's not. It's a mental thing. Right. That's what I worry about with him.
I mean, I was kind of joking about it, but Charles Barkley's golf swing is a mental thing.
Yeah,
and that's what you saw last year. Now, hey, it's in practice. There's no pressure. Sure, you can go out there and do it, but in a game. What happens then? That's where I need to see it from him. Like,
correct.
It's good in practice, a good start, and maybe repetition, and you see some go in, you can forget about those shakes or whatever you want to call them.
Right.
But from what you're seeing now, it looks good. But
all we can judge it off is what work he's done in the offseason to correct the form issues, and that it looks like he's done the work to correct those. The next question is the hurdle is can you get over the mental aspect of it, and that remains to be seen.
All right, so let's look at the Sixers' Ben Simmons, who was dared by everybody he played, where they would sit back inside the paint and say, "Go ahead and shoot it." And he actually was afraid to shoot it then. And it was some of his formulated from the lefty. This is the old form that you're looking at. Ugly.
Yeah, that's just look at that left leg kicking out. His body is twisting. Like, see, he comes off of that. Look how he's twisted.
Yeah. It's definitely not pretty and falling all over the place. There's absolutely no balance.
Terrible balance
whatsoever.
Yeah, elbow like out all the way out to the side. All right, let's get rid of it. I can't watch those bad shots like that. They hurt.
All right, now let's look at the new one. So this is in a pickup game, which you see a little bit more of a natural flow, which I like. Ooh, let's just step it up.
Yeah, much better balance.
Pretty smooth.
His elbow, I guess that'll always be a thing for him where it's way out to the side. That looks way smoother though. I need to see what his lower body looks like when he shoots it coming off that. See, that's hard. Still, that's a tough step back, but still leaning way back.
Right.
I hate to see people shoot the ball, and they're always on one foot and falling away when they come down.
Right.
Whether there's defense there or not, whether it's out of like necessity or not, you're always landing on your right leg if you're a lefty and kind of falling away from the basket. It's hard to repeat motions like that. These guys are so gifted that they can do it. Like I said, for him this year, it's a smoother shot. There's no doubt about it. And he's more willing to take it. And that's what I wanted to see from him. A willingness to step up there and confidently stroke the ball.
Pickup game. You know, like what does he do in an arena when LeBron's sitting in there and like under the basket?
Yeah.
Saying, go ahead.
That's the next step.
Exactly.
That's the next step. I'll tell you like this. I became like a good shooter in my NBA career, right? Confident shooter. Like, give me a look. I'm letting it go. Avery Johnson, when he coached the Mavs, would play like a mind game with me and put like Dirk Nowitzki on me because I wasn't really dribbling it or anything.
Right.
And Dirk half the time wouldn't come out like to guard me, like almost disrespectful. And it even played mind games with me. And I was a willing shooter. That was my only job.
Right.
Right. But seeing someone disrespect you like that, you're like, wait a minute. Like it gives you pause for a second.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
It does.
Funny.
If you're listening to the podcast and you're like, oh, this is great conversation, but what are you guys talking about? Make sure you go check it out. We'll put the footage on YouTube. CBS Sports HQ or Kanell Bell YouTube page. Kanell Bell YouTube page. CBS Sports HQ YouTube page. Go see that. We'll put this conversation up there. Add some of those things.